What's up everyone? Welcome back to the Vegan Test Kitchen. Today we are making something that I think you all will absolutely love, or at least I hope you will. I haven't even tried it, so who knows? It might be horrible, but fingers crossed, it's delicious. We're making cheesy sauce today. Now I wanted to do an episode just with this. We're gonna be using this in some other recipes later on. I hear from so many people that the one thing that they could never give up is cheese. So we're gonna make a cheese sauce today that should be absolutely awesome. It's pretty simple. You're really just mixing a whole bunch of ingredients together and cooking it up in a saucepan. We're gonna try it later on with some chips and see if it passes that test. But of course, you know, you can do lots of stuff with it. So let's get to it. Here's what you need. Nutritional flakes, flour, mustard, pinch of thyme, salt, olive oil, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, half a lemon should be fine, turmeric, garlic, 1 vegetable bouillon cube, or 2 cups of vegetable broth. All right, first things first, we're going to get a saucepan and heat up 2 cups of water, just enough to where we're gonna melt this vegetable bouillon cube. All right, while that's heating up, let's chop the garlic. All right, we're pretty much dissolved. So now what we're gonna do is combine this, the vegetable broth, with the flour and whisk it till it's pretty much mixed in. It said to do it in a measuring cup. Thankfully I have one big enough. Now we're actually gonna use this pot in a second, so I'm just gonna put it back on the burner and heat it up a little bit. Now the flour. It says to whisk with a fork, so screw the whisk. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit too much like Amelia Bedelia because I have to follow everything word by word, especially when it comes to recipes. So a lot of times I feel like I'm way too OCD about it. So if you're like that, you and I will get along just fine. Okay, it said some lumps are okay, and there are some lumps. Okay, now we're gonna put the olive oil in that same saucepan that we used, and then throw in the garlic and cook it for about 2 minutes. It says be careful not to burn it. You should probably turn the stove on. I was wondering why it wasn't cooking. So since we're about to put thyme in there, it says to get a pinch of thyme, just a pinch, and to crumble it up in your fingers. I imagine this is probably to help maybe release some of the juice. I mean, it's dried, and who knows how old this thyme is, to be honest with you. So, all right, the garlic is browning pretty quickly, so I'm gonna go ahead and say let's move on to the next step. Now what we're gonna do is add the thyme, salt, and pepper. Cook for about 15 seconds. All right, 15 seconds is up. So now we're gonna add the broth, the turmeric, and the nutritional yeast. And it says raise the heat to a medium, which it already is. We're gonna switch over to a whisk because we want this to get thick. But now it's time for the whisk. So if you're curious about nutritional yeast and you've never heard of it before, if you're vegan, you probably have. But if you're not vegan, this is the stuff that makes cheesy things taste cheesy. It's gonna give you that cheesy, nutty kind of taste. It's delicious. I make a kick-ass queso for our Halloween party that we have, and everybody loves it, including meat eaters and dairy eaters and all that stuff. So they absolutely love it. And they're not just telling me that, because the first time that we made it, I didn't tell some people, and they absolutely loved it. And then when I told them it was vegan, they were super surprised. So it's all about the seasonings, guys. That's what we're trying to do. Get it to a point where it's delicious, and if it's not right, then fix it. Then add some more seasonings to it or modify it, but it should be delicious. All right, so once it's thickened quite a bit, which it's very thick right now, what we're gonna do is add the mustard and the lemon juice. We're gonna turn this down a little bit because it's getting really thick. So the mustard, there's more mustard in this container than there is in the friggin' sauce. So we're putting 1 tablespoon of lemon juice in there. Hopefully no seeds come out. All right, stir up really good. It says it should have the consistency of the cheese sauce after you add this, you know, the extra liquid from the lemon and the mustard. And it's pretty thick. It also said to taste it just to make sure that it's salty enough, because it depends on how salty your broth is. Since we use the bouillon cube, it might be a little bit less salty. I'm not sure how that works typically. So we're gonna try it, just a little taste, just to see if it needs any more salt, and then we'll do the official taste test in a second. All right, we're gonna turn this off because it's pretty much where we need it. See how easy that was? It was super quick, super easy, and let's see how it tastes. It's good. I've never had this type of cheese sauce before. I've made cheese sauces in the past. Like I said, the queso that I make, this is great to dip nachos in. It's gonna be great for an upcoming recipe. You can do so much stuff with this, which is why I wanted to have its own separate video, because you can put it with mac and cheese, you can dip veggies in it, you can dip chips in it. I think this is really good. It has a very slight mustard taste, very slight, like you can barely pinpoint it, but it's there. I suggest you to try this. When you try it, if you make this at home, don't go into it thinking it's gonna taste exactly like cheese, because it's not going to. However, it checks those boxes for the savory, for that cheesy kind of rich taste to it. It's a great substitute for dairy cheese sauce. I would definitely make this, again, especially being how simple it is. So do it. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, hit the thumbs up. I would love you for it. And we're gonna put the sauce on a future recipe. So look forward to that. And I will see you guys soon.